Hey, what's up, everyone? I wanted to do a quick episode on spiritual abuse under the Alliance of the Holy Family International, or the AHFI movement, which I consider to be a cult. In my last solo episode, I was talking about trying to make a distinction between physical abuse and spiritual abuse, and I think that sometimes, many times, religious communities can fall under both camps. They can do not only the spiritual, but many times they do the physical abuse. In today's quick solo episode, I wanted to hit on the spiritual side of the abuse, particularly that which happened under the Alliance of the Holy Family International, Father Bing, the leadership. Because, okay, the thing is, the spirituality behind it. What was the spirituality? I'm not talking about physical abuse at the moment. Right now, what was the spirituality? And that is victimhood. What is victimhood in their idea? Well, first of all, I think their idea of victimhood is taken from, deny oneself, pick up your cross, and follow Christ. But and I'm saying this because it might not be officially said, or it might not be officially written down, but the way it was lived in my many years there was that, yes, pick up your cross, deny oneself, but follow them. And when I say them, I mean the AFI leadership, Father Edgardo Ariano, follow them all the way. They'll use things like blind obedience, holy slavery. And so this spirituality was really used not to help someone get closer to Christ. In my opinion, it wasn't used to help someone get closer to Christ. Their spirituality was used to manipulate people, because then when they get you with the spirituality, it's like, well, first deny oneself. You're doing that, but if you want to deny yourself perfectly and follow the gospel, you need to come and join our movement. And sometimes the things that they do in the movement really might go against your conscience. And then they'll say you need to practice discernment. And discernment actually is a beautiful thing. I think more people need to practice discernment, where they get to evaluate what they want to do with their life, what they want to do next, or what are some things that they need to discern regarding moving forward. So they use something beautiful like discernment, but then they will hijack it and say, well, sometimes we're flawed. Human beings are flawed. So your discernment might be very flawed. So if you don't want to make mistakes in life, have obedience, obey, really, literally. It's like, obey us and we'll tell you what to do with your life. If you go in a different direction, you're going further and further away from God, because that's not discernment and that's not obedience. We're the ones who are going to discern for you, right? Right? We're going to discern. Well, actually, we're discerning with you. And the superior or the leaders, when we tell you what to do, even though it might feel kind of wrong, or even if it feels kind of like it doesn't feel right for you, just know that this is God's will, because these superiors, they're taking the position of God's voice. So you see how that it becomes a really manipulative. But let's go even further. Where does the spiritual abuse end? Well, it starts with, that love bombing. Oh, when you come with us, God's going to bless you. He's going to bless your family for the next 20 generations. And then it becomes that fear. But if you leave, it's not going to be a blessing. It's going to be a curse. You're going to be cursed. Sad to say, you're going to be cursed, and your family. Oh my gosh, your family. They're going to be cursed for 20 generations. Oh my gosh, do you really want that? I don't think so. But hey, you need to practice discernment. And so while you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll practice discernment, already you're kind of like, oh snaps, like, what the heck? Curses are happening if I don't join this group, or like, oh, if I don't give them my donation, like, I'm gonna get cursed. Like, what the heck? And then it becomes, well, you can discern, but you just gotta, if you want to discern right, you have to obey. It really just, like I said, it hijacks a person's spirituality. So from there, there's so many forms. You see spiritual abuse with the prayer. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. because they would always like the superiors, Father Bing would always want us to do a whole checklist of prayers that we had to do. Like we had to do our morning prayers or evening prayers, Stations of the Cross, 10 rosaries, 6 journal pages, do the 7 sorrows. There's just a lot of things that you have to do. And then above, on top of that, you have all of these activities that you put in your checklist that you have to do. Oh, I have to, I don't know, go to the store and buy whatever. I don't know. There's just like so many like random things that you have to do. And sometimes you're even going to school or you're doing apostolate. So there's just so much. And then I remember asking somebody, okay, this is like towards the end of my time there. I was already kind of mentally walking out. But I remember asking someone, is it a sin if I don't finish my 10 rosaries? And he was like, yeah, it's a sin. And like at that time when I asked him that, I was like, I had been in the community for at least 10 years. So I know the answer is yes. But I was like just thinking out loud, like, and I asked him, why is it a sin? And he's like, because that's the obedience. The obedience is to do at least 10 rosaries. And if you didn't do it, then you're not obeying. I'm like, yeah, but the funny thing is, what if I can't finish my 10 rosaries because the superior is also giving me a whole bunch of other things that I need to do, like teaching class or I don't know, some other activities where I just can't do it. Too bad. It's a sin. I was like, well, why is it a sin? If let's say I try my best. I'm doing all that I can. I'm trying to pray when I'm walking, when I'm jogging. I'm trying to get my rosaries in, but I just can't. Is it still a sin? And he's like, yes. And I said, why? Because the superior said so. Okay, but what do you think God thinks? What do you think do you think God's gonna say, oh, it's a sin? And this person was looking at, I think the person walked away. And I didn't mean to be, I wasn't trying to, I didn't try to be rude, but I was just trying to be honest. Honest question. You think God's gonna be mad if you don't finish? Because like these superiors in the okay, so this is what they do. They give you these heavy burdens and they know you can't finish it because they give you like the impossible. And then they'll say, you didn't finish it. Oh my gosh, you didn't have faith or you didn't try hard enough. And then it gets you stuck in this loop. And so anyways, that's kind of what I wanted to say a bit about the spiritual abuse and how there's just a cycle of guilt and shame and you're never good enough. And no matter how hard you try, they're going to be giving you all of these tasks because they want you to fail. And then they're going to set it up. You didn't have enough faith. You're not a good person. See how disobedient you are. Well, it all kind of stopped when I, started biting back and I started yelling back. Like I'm not going to repeat some of the things that I said. But after that, I think I just hope that people start wisening up. And I know that a lot of people who are listening may not be religious. So all of this that happens, it's like, I think it's an embarrassment to religious people because it does happen. And not that many people are speaking about it. But if you are religious, if you are a person of faith, and maybe you are one of these people who are stuck and you're like, oh my gosh, but Ryan, I can't leave because, they tell me that I'm going to be cursed and I'm going to be punished. And it's like, okay, well, hold on, take a pause. I know that feeling. I've been there. I've freaking been there, I think what I would like to suggest, if you're a person of faith, ask for some wisdom because without wisdom, you're not going to wake up and you're going to be stuck in this loop. So I think if you are a person of faith, ask God for some wisdom to wake you up because this is not a good environment where there's deceit, where there is manipulation. And then they're going to be asking, oh, afterwards, after they shame you and stuff, then they'll be like, hey, can you give us some money? We have these goals that we want to accomplish. Can you give us some money, please? But after they shame the heck out of you, and let's say you can't even give them your money, it's like, dude, hey, like I'm having a hard time, because my family, we're in a bit of a deficit, and we're going through hard times. Then they're gonna start bitching again. Well, it's not our fault that you don't know how to control your finances. You don't know how to control your spending. See how they make you feel guilty, or how it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. And it's not denying oneself. of carrying one's cross to follow Christ, they're getting you to follow them and empty your wallets. So that's it for today. If you'd like to help me out, please subscribe to my YouTube or follow me on Spotify. Leave a review. Hopefully it's a good one. And if you would like, please hook me up with some coffee, yo. Buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/truthatH7. That always helps me stay caffeinated. And I do buy a lot of coffee. I'm almost out. But it also helps me pay the bills. So anyways, if you would like to help me out, go ahead and do so, or subscribe and share this with others, especially those who have been involved with the AHFI movement cult, because it divides families, it divides minds, it breaks a person's spiritual life, it hijacks a person's spiritual life. All right, have a good day. Peace.